In the rugged forests of the Pacific Northwest and the mist-shrouded mountains of Japan, stories persist of elusive creatures said to inhabit these remote regions, rarely seen yet deeply influential on the imagination of local communities. In Japan, these entities are often referred to as yokai, spirits, apparitions, or strange beings that many people believe cross the boundary between ordinary reality and the unknown. Across the ocean in North America, Sasquatch is the name commonly attached to an enormous, hair-covered biped that roams the wilds of British Columbia and the states bordering Canada. Despite the vast geographic distance between these two cultures, both Yokai and Sasquatch command intense fascination, spurred on by individuals who assert that they have personally witnessed or encountered these creatures. When discussing these alleged sightings, it is essential to focus on the first-hand reports, anecdotes, and pieces of physical evidence offered by eyewitnesses and investigators. Although skeptics may be quick to dismiss these stories as folklore or misunderstanding, the accounts remain compelling for many who believe these creatures are more than just legends. Whether they stem from illusions or genuine experiences, these encounters and the reactions they inspire shape local traditions, spark heated debates in cryptid and paranormal circles, and shed light on how communities around the world respond to the unknown lurking at the edge of human perception. The term yokai encompasses a vast spectrum of strange and mysterious beings in Japan. According to centuries-old tales and modern anecdotes alike, yokai can appear in myriad ways, as animal-like creatures roaming lonely roads at night, as shapeshifters blending into human communities, or as region-specific apparitions attached to rivers, mountains, or abandoned temples. Although these stories often exist in an ambiguous space between folklore and tangible reality, there are people who insist that they have experienced an encounter with a being that defies mundane explanation. Some well-documented cases point to the Edo period, during which stories were compiled in illustrated books and scrolls by collectors of the strange and otherworldly. These accounts sometimes depict travelers who met an odd figure along a mountain path, only to find it vanish into thin air. In contemporary times, enthusiastic collectors of supernatural stories continue to gather modern reports from individuals who claim to have heard unsettling sounds in the night or haven't been able to explain an animal they glimpsed in rural regions. Certain mountain villages claim that suspicious footprints, too large to be that of any ordinary animal, occasionally appear near isolated shrines or abandoned farmhouses. Local residents pass these stories down through generations, reinforcing a collective sense that the old tales might just hold more than a grain of truth. In many remote areas, yokai stories function as cautionary tales, warning people about the dangers of traveling alone or straying too far after dark. Yet not all accounts emphasize danger. Some individuals describe benign experiences, a strange helping hand that guided them along a treacherous path or a faintly shimmering figure that vanished as soon as the observer tried to draw near. Many locals take these events seriously, especially in regions where spiritual beliefs merge seamlessly with daily life. These stories, far from being outdated curiosities, continue to shape part of the cultural identity of rural Japan, where people remain open to the possibility that there is more to their forests and mountains than modern science can explain. Turning to North America, the legend of Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot, has been circulating for centuries, originating from Native American accounts that describe a tall, hairy, upright walking figure inhabiting the deep wilderness. In the modern era, eyewitness testimony has expanded exponentially, with thousands of people claiming to have encountered an immense, ape-like creature leaving footprints behind in muddy riverbanks or isolated logging roads. Researchers and enthusiasts often painstakingly compare plaster casts of these footprints, analyzing toe shapes, strides, and impressions to gauge whether they could be fabricated or legitimately beyond the scope of recognized wildlife. Beyond footprints, witnesses point to hair samples, recorded howls, and, in rare cases, blurred footage or photographs. Some of these videos, grainy clips of dark figures moving through the woods, have become iconic in cryptozoological circles. While skeptics question both authenticity and interpretation, those who share these materials believe that they represent the best evidence yet for Sasquatch's existence. Hunters, hikers, and loggers are among the most frequent reporters of sightings, as these individuals often spend extended periods in remote wilderness. In interviews, they describe a deep sense of unease, even primal fear, upon encountering something that stands several feet taller than any human and moves with a speed and agility they find startling. Over time, local communities in areas with frequent reports have developed their own lore around Sasquatch. People who remain open-minded or convinced of its existence share tips about hotspots, such as certain valleys or ridgelines known for repeated sightings. At the same time, towns that once scoffed at alleged encounters have recognized the fascination the public holds for these stories, sometimes hosting events or establishing museums dedicated to the topic. While it can be easy for casual observers to dismiss these gatherings as fueled by mass hysteria or folklore, the unwavering conviction of some eyewitnesses stands as a reminder that these individuals genuinely believe they have seen something ominous and unexplainable in the forest. When approaching Yokai and Sasquatch from a critical perspective, investigators must navigate the delicate balance between respect for eyewitness testimony and the need for tangible corroboration. Human perception, weather conditions, and emotional states can all contribute to misidentification. For instance, an exhausted hiker trekking through thick fog might mistake a shadow or an animal for something it's not. Similarly, unusual footprints can be misread or deliberately hoaxed. Nevertheless, the persistence of these stories across centuries and continents provides a compelling reason to probe deeper. Laboratory tests on alleged hair samples occasionally conclude that the samples belong to known animals, such as bears or dogs. However, in rarer instances, the results remain inconclusive, fueling speculation that something undiscovered might indeed roam these hidden places. The same duality emerges in the study of yokai accounts. While some sightings correlate with known phenomena, like an optical illusion caused by swamp gas or an unidentified but mundane animal, others lack any conventional explanation. Detailed witness interviews typically reveal certain patterns. Individuals often describe feeling an uncanny sense of being watched or followed prior to spotting the creature. Some describe an intense, pungent odor linked to Sasquatch or an eerie silence, suddenly descending in yokai tales. These shared elements reinforce the sense that people might be tapping into real phenomena, even if the exact nature of those phenomena remains questionable. Scholars, whether paranormal investigators or folklorists, highlight the importance of collecting these testimonies consistently and cross-referencing them with known data to build a more comprehensive picture. Both Yokai and Sasquatch stories endure because they resonate with a universal desire to understand the unknowable corners of our world. While modern technology allows us to map landscapes with great precision, the possibility of encountering something beyond established catalogs of living creatures remains. People do not merely enjoy these stories as tales told around a campfire, they actively seek out places where sightings have occurred, hoping for their own brush with the extraordinary. For rural communities in Japan, the continuing presence of yokai accounts helps preserve cultural identity, tying younger generations to a sense of place and spiritual tradition. Though industrialization and urban migration have changed much of the landscape, these stories persist, suggesting a lingering enchantment with the environment's hidden facets. In North America, Sasquatch sightings often reinforce conservation efforts, as communities recognize that preserving wilderness is crucial not only for ecological reasons but also for the intrigue of what might still live there. Real or mythical, the possibility of a large, unidentified creature draws people's attention to the fragility and majesty of the natural world. Curiosity does not necessarily equate to blind belief. In both Japan and North America, there are dedicated skeptics who remain unconvinced, eager to place any sightings firmly into the realm of mistaken identity or folklore. Even so, the testimonies of hunters, farmers, travelers, and entire generations continue to accumulate, forming a patchwork quilt of encounters that defy convenient explanation. Rather than diminishing over time, these reports renew themselves, suggesting that our fascination with what we have yet to fully uncover is a timeless part of the human psyche. At the heart of these recurring accounts lies a fundamental question: how much do we really know about the world around us? With so many corners of remote forests, mountainous regions, and hidden valleys remaining largely unexplored, could creatures like Yokai and Sasquatch truly exist beyond rumor and anecdote? Or do these encounters merely speak to the power of collective imagination and human perception shaped by tradition? Regardless of which side one takes, the cultural impact of these tales is indisputable. In a world that often feels fully charted, these stories of elusive beings spark the same sense of wonder that explorers felt centuries ago when faced with blank spaces on the map. As new technology emerges, whether it be more advanced genetic testing or high-definition trail cameras, believers hope that conclusive evidence may finally come to light. Meanwhile, local residents who grew up with these narratives remain cautious but open-minded, recognizing that sometimes the boundary between folklore and reality may be thinner than society would like to admit. Ultimately, whether or not definitive evidence for these creatures is ever uncovered, the accounts themselves serve as a bridge between the tangible and the enigmatic. By listening to first-hand stories told in hushed voices around the hearth or shared in excited tones on online forums, we keep alive the prospect that our world might be more mysterious than we typically assume. For many, that enduring sense of possibility, that we might yet discover something wondrous in the wilderness or stumble upon a spirit at the edge of a lonely road, is sufficient reason to maintain curiosity. In this way, the ongoing narratives surrounding Yokai and Sasquatch function as a testament to humanity's longing for the unexplored. They hint that despite centuries of scientific advancement, there remain questions that prompt awe and, sometimes, a healthy dose of skepticism. And so, as long as the wind continues to rustle in uncharted corners and distant footfalls echo in the depths of silent forests, people will peer into the unknown, hoping to catch a glimpse, however fleeting, of the extraordinary creatures said to reside there.